Okay, and then the same melody repeats, it's just different words. So that's the song.
Okay, so this is the reduction of the first 8 measures of On Die Musik. I don't know for sure if that's how you pronounce it, but whatever. As you can see, it starts on a 1-6-4, and then it goes to a 1-6. And then if you look back at our full analysis, you can see that there's a group of passing tones in between the 1-6 and the 5-7. And then it goes to a 1 again, followed by a 1-6. A lot of this piece is going from 1 to 5 and back to 1. But after the 1-6, there's a 6 chord, and then a 7 of 5 that goes to a 1-6-4 and then a 5. There's a lot of 7 of 5s in this piece, and most of them go straight to a 5, but this one has a 1-6-4 in between. And you can tell that it is a secondary 7th chord rather than, I think, a 4 chord because of the G sharp. So then it goes to a 5-7, and then a 1 again, 1-6, and then 4. And then it goes to a 5-7, and if you look back at the full analysis again, you can see a passing tone in the bass, in the left hand. It's a chromatic passing tone, which we don't see that often, but so it goes from an A to an A sharp, and then a B in the 6th chord. So those are the first 8 measures.
Alright, so Kaylee took us through measures 1 through 8 of On Die Musik, and I will be doing measures 9 through 15, which is here to, wow, it's really hard to move your finger like this, 9 to 15. I didn't do a reduction for mine because I honestly just got kind of confused because the bass line changes from treble to bass a lot, and I just would rather go from the original score, so that is what I am going to do. It might be hard for you to read along with me, but that's okay. So starting in measure 9, we're starting with a 5-7 that's in first inversion, and that moves to 1 as we'd expect it to. And then we go back into 5-7 here, again in first inversion, but then as the measure goes on, we move into third inversion. Yeah, third inversion. And these notes here are passing tones. And then as the melody comes back in, we're back in 1 to 5-7 again. That is also going between inversions. And then 12, 1, 5. The whole song, as Kaylee mentioned, is a lot of 1 to 5 and back to 1. It's pretty exciting. So here we're back at 1 again, then we go to 5 again, and there's again some chromatic passing tones, which we had over here. So 1 to 5 to 1-6, 1 resolves to 5 again, and back to 1, 5-7, 1, and then we go to 4. And then this one, we're not totally sure. The notes are G sharp, B, D, and F sharp. And G sharp is in the bass, but it's not a chord tone. But we didn't see any modulation either, so we're not exactly sure what that was supposed to be. But we ended up wondering if it's a 7 of 5. So that's what we have, but honestly not entirely sure if that's right. I was not able to get in to ask Mrs. Rice or Ms. Rice about that. So we're pretty sure that that could be a 7 of 5, excuse me. But I'm pretty sure this is a 1. I can't remember. I think it's a 1. And I don't know if a 7 of 5 would go to 1 necessarily, so that's why it's kind of like, So we're not sure about that. But yeah, this is Ande Musik, and yeah, it's a pretty exciting reduction. There was something else I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was. The piece is pretty short. It's just the 2 verses that repeat, so it's a lot of the same thing going on. It's a really popular tune, so I'm sure a lot of you have heard it before, or would recognize it if you listen to it, but yeah, I can't remember what else I was going to say, so I guess that's it. Pretty simple reduction, not a lot to it. So yeah, this is Ande Musik by Franz Schubert, and we're almost done with the reduction now, so I'll hand it over to Shayna to round this off.
Okay, hi guys, this is Shayna Engelhardt. I will be picking up where Abby left off at measure 16. I'll be talking to you through 23. Here's a picture of just kind of what this looks like in the music, and here's my reduction of that. So in measure 16 we are in D major, and this is a 1/6 chord. As you can see, the A is on the bottom and the chord goes up from there. Then in the second part of measure 16, the A becomes an A sharp, making this a 5 of something chord because the key signature does not have an A sharp in it. So this is a 5/6/5 of 6. Measure 17 is a 6, and the second part of measure 17 is a 4/7 because it has the 7th on top. Measure 18 is a 1/6 chord because there is no 7th, and the A is again on the bottom of the D chord. And then the second part of measure 18 is a 7/7 chord because it is in root position and has a 7th. Measure 19 is a 1 the whole way through this measure, with a couple lower neighbors and passing tones to keep the music interesting. Measure 20 is a 3 chord, and it has this the whole way through with some passing tones to keep the music not all the same but still in the same chord. Measure 21 is a 1 chord, again with some passing tones, a couple lower neighbors. Measure 22, the first part is a 4/7 because that has all 4 parts of this chord, making it the 7th, and it is in root position. The second part of measure 22 is a 5 of 7 chord, which is again has the 7th with it. There are no passing tones or lower neighbors in this chord, or in this measure. And in the last measure, it's a 1/7 chord with all of the chords. Yeah, so that completes our song, and this was a very interesting but cool song because it made the music very interesting, but also kept it from keeping the solo part more important than the actual piano part. So yeah, it was a very cool song. Thanks, guys.